Well, thank you, Ben. Thank you for that. And let me add my voice to the others in terms of saluting Senator Jones from Alabama for taking the lead in this effort. It is time for us to pass the Future Act. These institutions, minority-serving institutions, have been underfunded for decades. This issue is personal to me. Before I was governor, I had the opportunity to serve on the board of Virginia Union, and a little bit later we're going to hear from Jalen, a student at Union. I know the quality of students that come out of our HBCUs. I was proud to start in the mid-1990s an initiative called the Virginia High-Tech Partnership that brought students from all 5 of our HBCUs and placed them in internships in tech firms across Virginia. Matter of fact, our effort for 20 years placed more students just out of Virginia than the whole combined UNCF effort. So I know firsthand the quality of students that come out of the HBCUs. We've got 5 HBCUs in Virginia. They need this support. In Virginia, this failure to reauthorize this funding is costing these institutions combined about $4 million. That $4 million goes into services that can't be delivered. It may cut back on course offerings. It is inappropriate and wrong that this funding is being held hostage because, as other senators have mentioned, if this bill came to the floor of the Senate, it would pass overwhelmingly. It could be resolved with the House, and the President would sign it. So let's move forward. Let's not hold these universities hostage. They do a lot of great work. Again, I know Jalen's going to be making her comments in a few moments. We need to do more than say we support HBCUs and other minority-serving institutions. We need to give them the funding they deserve, and that will take place when we pass the Future Act.
Greetings. I am Jalen Hodges, a junior biology major at Virginia Union University, also known as VUU, where I currently have a 4.0 GPA and serve as the university's first ever elected student representative to the Board of Trustees. I am also the direct beneficiary of Title III funding, and in particular, mandatory funding found in the Title III, Part F of the Higher Education Act of 1965. When I arrived at my prestigious HBCU in fall of 2017, I entered the gateway into my future. During my first year, I conducted research in our neuroscience and chemistry laboratories, where I learned technical and analytical skills that are essential to my long-term academic and professional goals. In the classroom, I received my education with smartboard technology, allowing me and many of my colleagues to learn more efficiently. Mandatory funding found in the Title III, Part F, is the reason why I have been able to have access to many of these resources. With continued mandatory funding, the university will be able to provide student access to technological resources. With continued mandatory funding, students will receive continued support for their participation in our workforce development program, which allows students to gain experience in fields related to their interests, such as STEM education and/or future careers while paying off their tuition. With continued mandatory funding, updates to our historic buildings would remain a priority. With continued mandatory funding, students and faculty would be afforded access to ever-changing equipment and laboratories that are consistent with industry standards. With continued mandatory funding, I would maintain the encouragement and support of many of my faculty and staff, as a percentage of these funds help to pay their salaries. It's because of VUU that I am a better version of myself, one who is confident and assured that the resources that have been afforded to me have prepared me for my graduate studies in medicine. Mandatory funding in Title III, Part F has provided critical resources for HBCUs across the country. This funding goes to strengthening and expanding the technological infrastructure, bolstering teaching, learning, and research endeavors, as well as ensuring vital improvements and upgrades for the university's physical plant. Without this mandatory funding, VUU would not be able to achieve these things. It would not be able to continue to provide certain student support services. On behalf of the thousands of students who attend HBCUs, and VUU, who was recently identified by the Council of Independent Colleges as one of the top 10 producers of African Americans with a bachelorate degree who received a PhD in the biological sciences and a 155-year history of providing a bridge to intellectual freedom, Title III Part F funding has been an essential component to our growth and the worthy investment in the next generation of global leaders. Thank you.